I lost my job last week. I've been working for this employer for 4 years and in this industry for 25, actually almost 26 years, and was unceremoniously let go. Not because I was doing a bad job, not because of malfeasance, not because of any negative thing. It was really politics more than anything else. And it was just let go. Which, that's how things go, right? That's the world we live in. It has been for a while. But as a man, as a white man, in his late 50s, early 60s, what do? Where do you go? How do you start new one more time? Where do you start? How do you, as I said, start anew? There's no such thing as a new career. I mean, sure, you can get another job if you hustle enough, but you aren't starting a career in your 60s. But this is what you're faced with. This is what you're faced with today. And there's no getting around it. I'm not the only one. And I know I'm not the only one. The world's fundamentally changed. We all know that. People say, well, it goes back to the virus and everything around the virus. Actually was long before that. I remember as a young man in college in the early 80s, or should I say Marxist indoctrination camp, it was clear that the world was changing, and not for good reasons. Then the excitement, if you want to call it that, was we were embracing the information age. Well, that's not really what we were embracing, was it? It was a fundamental economic shift. And the people who are at the bottom of the totem pole today are white males. And they can say what they want, but that's a fact. So, white men are at the bottom of the totem pole. And, when you're older, let's take a step back. When women went into the workforce in large numbers, they took, in a lot of professions now, more than half the jobs. White men were displaced, where you used to be the breadwinner for the family. And of course, we know we'll talk more about the destruction of the American family in another video, but the fact of the matter is, with women taking more than half the jobs, where do men go? And, when you see the numbers on Gen X unemployment, but it's not just Gen X. It cuts across Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. When you look at the numbers, unemployment numbers for men, they're significantly higher than they are for women. And again, women, I know I'm going to get a lot of grief for this. Women took our jobs. There are more women lawyers than men lawyers. There are just as many women doctors as male doctors, and so on and so forth. And I understand, and when you go into certain professions where females dominated, there are almost no men left. teaching, nursing, men who were always a minority in those professions, pretty much, they're non-existent at this point. So where do men go? You can take the most dangerous jobs. You know, you can be a coal miner, you can work on an oil rig, whatever shit job that nobody else wants to do. White man, go do it. And this is the situation men are faced with. And as a Gen Xer, as a person who's older, yes, I'm experiencing it, but we're all experiencing it. Men, down to Gen Z, and soon probably Gen Alpha. Those kids aren't working quite yet, but they will be soon. I mean, they're only a few years. The youngest Gen Alphas will be working in just a couple of years. They will be entering the workforce. So it won't be different for them. It won't be different at all. So what do you do as a man? That's a question. I mean, you hear these, red pillars or other, and I don't give advice. That's not what I do here. I just talk about my life and what's going on with my life and how maybe it affects some other people around me and you out there, but I don't give advice. This is not an advice channel. But, people talk about go to trade school, do this. That's not for everyone. I've known lots of guys in my time and have worked with them who are tradesmen, that's a tough life. It's not easy. People don't just throw money at you. So there's this nonsensical people basically talking out of their ass. Hey, white man, just, go be an electrician. I mean, and today, you might be away from your family if you have a family, I would say lucky enough, but, I don't know that you're necessarily lucky if you have a family. You might be away from your family or from your home for months at a time, working at a job site, 5-6 states away. It's a different world now. These particularly larger companies, they take projects that, particularly of a large nature, states away. So you're living in a hotel room, maybe sharing it with another dude. I mean, it's a situation that is not getting any better anytime soon. And then there are no easy solutions. And certainly, what the cultural norms that they have torn away from all of us, family, God, having a decent job, enjoying a decent pension at the end, all those things got shorn from American life. There are no replacements. A 401k is not a replacement for a pension. Living by yourself is not a replacement for a family. Living without God in your life it de-anchors you. It only fills you full of hopelessness. There are no easy solutions to how we have structured American life. And it didn't just start with the virus. It started long before the virus. Anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. I hope to see you soon. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel, trying to get better at this, and I hope that you're along for that journey. Thank you.